Hi everyone, um, I'm making this video to update you guys, if you can call this an update, on the situation on Onyx and how he's doing and what are our plans for him. I'm just gonna break down the story of how we kind of like found Onyx and how we took him in. So I had bought a pot of plants, right, for my mother, and she had it outside, and every day she would go outside and water it, right. At this point, the plants were heavily damaged. Like they had water damage, they were burned, but she still watered them. One morning she went outside, and then she went right back inside, startled, and she was like, "Oh, there's this big black dog outside." And I went outside, and lo and behold, there's Onyx, all malnourished, with a shock color, and scared. Nervous and scared. Long story short, my folks were like, oh, we can't, afford to have a dog and whatnot. So since the get go, from the beginning, um, they were very inclined to not keeping the dog, right? So we tried calling animal control and all this and all that. Bunch of mumbo jumbo. And one day, luckily, the animal control came into my house. They tried to, take the dog, but the dog ran away as soon as he saw them, right? So they were like, well, we tried, we couldn't. My mom was very desperate that day. She was like, oh my god, I hope he's okay. I hope that, he's not hurt. And if he comes back, like, I'll do whatever I can to try and find him a good home. So we came back that same day, right? So we were like, alright, we can keep him, we can feed him and all this and all that until he's good enough to, be adopted or something. We took him in, we kept him. And then over the time, we're like, you know what? He's kind of like growing in us and whatnot. Just let's keep him. So we got him fixed. He got all his shots, everything. We got him into a training program, and also we got him a little house. And things started getting a little weird and different. He was always a little on edge, right? He was he was most definitely, in my opinion, an abused dog. So one of the things that are very dangerous and weird about Onyx is that sometimes when he's overstimulated, or I don't really know the reasoning behind it, but he will bite. And he's bitten me and my dad and my mom for different reasons. Me, it was accidental, but from what I've heard from my parents, he bit them not necessarily accidentally. And that was off-putting and something to keep an eye on, right? Well, we got him in training and all this and all that, and he would constantly bark aggressively at anything or anyone that came by our house. Bus, children, guests, anything. And that was always weird. So anyway, long story short, we got him a muzzle, a leash, a training shock collar, that it's only activated with the remote, so that you can control it, like the intensity and when, and how long, all that. And that happened. So we were getting the training going on, seemed very, like he was getting a hold of things very quickly. He's very fast at learning. He's a smart dog. But one time, we took him inside, right inside the house, and I noticed right away that he was kind of like a little jumpy. So he would be laying down in place, and all of a sudden, if I laid him down right next to him just to kind of like pet him and whatnot, he would get like super railed up and like start kind of like jumping and wanting to play. And that was very weird for me because usually he was able, to like calm down, restrain himself when I was around him, just calm, like touch, but not inside the house and all that. I was like, oh, whatever, I won't bug him too much. Now that same day, after we watched the movie or whatnot, I decided to go make myself a little snack in the kitchen. And my folks, my parents and my brothers started, petting him. And I don't know if it was like the stimulation from the pets or me making noise or just everything, but he bit my brother. It wasn't something too bad, but it's still bad. Like he still bit my brother. So I took him outside, and you know we we didn't know what to do or how to like look at that, how to take that, because most dogs will always or usually always bark, growl at you before they bite you, but not this dog. He wouldn't growl, he would just bite. And long story short, we also got him a kennel, right? And the one day, it was the first couple of times that I was putting him in the kennel. He was completely fine going inside the kennel and whatnot, not like stubborn whatsoever. One day, I literally opened the door from the garage because the kennel was inside. He went inside the kennel by himself, and I was like, "All right, cool. I'm gonna close it." Well, as soon as I grabbed like the gate, he started barking senseless, like if I was getting, like if he wanted to kill me and he was like getting attacked, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? That's weird. Didn't think too much of it. Another time, he was outside. I opened the garage door. He came inside, and he smelled the food. We keep the bags of food outside, and he started eating all the food, And obviously, I wasn't like gonna grab him or anything. I was like, oh, he's fucking eating. I shouldn't touch him, I should just like try to get his attention so that he gets his head out of the fucking bag. So I started, like poking his ribs or like touching his back legs with my feet. I wouldn't like get his attention. He was just gonna like growl a little bit, like, or leave me alone. And so I grabbed an air blower, a leaf blower, I mean, and like kind of like touch his neck. And as soon as I touch his neck, like he just went ballistic on the fucking thing. He started biting it, and like getting very aggressive. Like as soon as I like got any close, like he would start just fucking going at it. And I was like, all right. I got mad, so I was like, stop, and he was like, go outside, he went outside, and I was like, that was odd, it's kind of like, obvious, because, dogs, when they're eating, they don't want to get, bugged, or anything. And long story short, keep going with the training, whatnot. One day, I took him outside, right, and this was completely my fault. I had too much trust in this dog. This was completely my fault. I took him outside, for training and playing, and just getting him, excited and tired. And so I went to this park that is known, to like be empty. Like there's not many people around that fucking park throughout the day. And so I took him there, right? And like it was not early in the morning, but it was fairly early, like before noon. And it was fairly cold, so I was like, alright, this kind of works, So I took him out, I brought a ball with me, I had the muzzle with me, and I had a leash with me, but since I looked around, there was absolutely nobody around me. I was like, alright, I feel like I can just give him a little freedom. Just took the muzzle off and the leash, and I just like kept walking around with the ball, and he would just like sniff around and pee, fine, So I took a phone call. You know, I was wasted some like 20 minutes on the call. On the call, hang up. Started playing with the dog. You know, and the dog got a little gassed up. We were training on like him dropping the toy or the ball, you know, because he wouldn't never do it, you know. So like I'd be telling him like drop it, and he wouldn't do it. Or, like even a couple shocks, he would drop it. And so he got really good at waiting for him, for me to give him the command to go after the ball, not just going after it. And you know he got gassed up. We played all that, yeah. And he lays down with the ball in his mouth, and I lay next to him, you know, and just pet him. And I start lollygagging with him, like, oh, you're so cute. And I don't notice this lady behind me, right? And she goes by walking, right? And he like seems like a little attentive of her. You're like, oh, what's that, you know? But I keep petting him, nothing happens. And that should have been my reaction, like, oh, there's a lady walking. I was lucky he didn't react or anything. Put a leash on or keep the muzzle on, you know? But no, my dumbass didn't do anything. The lady kept walking. I just kept laying down with him. I think she did like a lap or something. She comes back around. We're still, you know, in the same spot. I'm petting him, he's gassed, all that. He's just the same lady again, right? But this time, you know, I'm petting him, and like he like looks at her, right? And I'm like, no. He doesn't want to play. No, like he doesn't like take his eyes off of her, right? And then he stands up and goes toward it. I'm like, fuck. You know, like I didn't have the muzzle on him. Like I have it on me, but like I didn't have it like on him. And the remotes, you know, for the shots and all that was in my pocket. And that even so, he starts going towards her, right? I'm like, fuck. So I stand up. I'm like, no, he doesn't want to play. I take out the remote, right? And by the moment I take out the remote, I try to like, you know, hit him with the like the shocks. You know, there's like 3 levels of shock with each power level, you know. So 3 buttons for each power level, you know. And I try to, you know, hit the collar. So he gets in front of her with the ball in the mouth, and he starts going like this, right? Like, oh, like just shaking the fucking ball, right? And I'm like, oh no. So the lady just like stands still. She's like, what the fuck is this dog doing, you know? And I crank the power of the collar all the way up. But before I'm able to shock her, like he drops the ball and launches at the fucking lady and bites her. And you know, the whole time I was running toward him, you know, hitting the fucking button. I think that I believe the controller worked a little bit, because like he didn't like hold on to her or anything. He just like bit her and a couple times, and then just let go. I got to him. I felt like shit. Obviously, I felt stupid. And the lady was like, "Oh, put a fucking leash on that dog." And I was like, "Yeah." Put a leash on the dog. Brought him back to my car. Talked to the lady, exchanging the info. She called the animal control and all this and all that. You know, they told her like, "Oh, we can't really do anything. Just talk to the owner and whatnot." She was like, "All right, listen. I don't want to press any charges or anything, but I do want the dog to be taken care of. You know, like, meaning, you know, I want him down. You know, kind of like talk to her and whatnot." She was like, "Well, do you want to keep the dog?" Well, I was like, you know, I gave her this story, and I was like, you know, I want to try to give the dog a chance, you know. And fuck, man. I mean, the lady was really like, it was pretty bad. He broke skin right here, and also like on some areas of the chest. It was definitely something. Like, it wasn't something horrible, but it was serious, you know. And you know, ever since that was like last week, and ever since, you know, we've been a little more precautious. We don't really we don't really let him run around free. We like keep him in the kennel and whatnot. We've been actively trying to look for places where he can be taken in for like either professional training or whatnot. No luck with that. And this morning, right, I heard him barking really, like, constantly, right, in the morning, right before anybody left from my house. And everybody was doing their things, you know. So I heard the dog bark, you know. I was like, you know what, he probably just wants to go pee. So, you know, open the kennel, open the garage door so he can go to the yard, and I go back upstairs, right? Well, to my surprise, I don't know how, I don't know where it came from, I don't know whose it was, but I found out that Onyx killed a small dog, right? And I guess that's where I draw the line, right? I love this dog to death. I love Onyx. But I am capable enough to recognize that me personally, I am not mentally in a state of mind where I can give this dog all the attention, all the training, everything that he needs so that he can be a proper, well trained and dog. He's a Dutch Shepherd. Requires a lot of attention. My dad has been, having like health issues lately, and we've just decided to put him down. We haven't found. He can't be with anyone. He can't be at a home with regular folk like us because he's dangerous. He's bit my parents. He's bit my brother. He's bit me. He's bit already a fucking lady that we didn't, and he killed the fucking dog. He also killed like a squirrel and some birds, but little stuff. But yeah, that's the update, I guess. That's the where we stand with Onyx nowadays. And trust me, it breaks my heart that it's come down to this. But he's already almost 2 years old. Most professional dogs, whether it's in the canine or they have been trained since puppies. And like I said, the area where I live is not that big. I live in Tri-Cities, in Washington. He needs professional training and a professional owner, like a handler. We haven't been able to reach out or find anyone willing to take a challenge like him because he is a challenge. He is dangerous and he is a challenge. And this is, I guess, like my last Hail Mary to anybody that might be wanting a fucking dog like this that is living around our area, because he's already got a scheduled appointment tomorrow morning so that he can get put down. So I doubt anything or anyone meant for this will reach out to me on time. So I just wanted to share this with you guys and let you guys know what happened or what's the update with Onyx, because I knew that I did upload some videos of them, but I never quite gave enough follow-ups. And I guess that's one of the reasons why, because I did see a lot of improvement during the training in certain aspects, but it also opened my eyes to other aspects that I don't think we can understand without knowing what kind of life he had beforehand, And I've never had a dog before. My family has never had a big dog before. A dog like this, I don't think it's like the best way to start learning how to take care of a dog, and mainly because we're gonna make a lot of mistakes, and I don't want those mistakes to be, a lady bitten or a fucking dog killed. So, and also it's not good for Onyx to just live in a fucking cage. Like I would love to see him be able to play with other dogs, with kids, hang out with adults and other. Inside the house, our pets are indoors, but sadly, I guess it wasn't meant for Onyx and us. So that's all I gotta say. Thank you so much for everybody that watched the videos of Onyx. And thank you for watching, everybody. Take care.